welcome back to my channel. I hope you all had an incredible holiday period. Mine went on for a little longer than I anticipated, which is why there has been a lack of videos on this channel. But I'm back now and I'm ready to get straight back into it. So for my first project of the year, I wanted to make something fun and Disney related because I'm going to Disney World this year! Yay! So I'm finally getting to go on my honeymoon, even though I was married back in 2020, but we all know something happened in 2020 that meant that nobody could really travel anywhere around the world. But now everything seems to be open again, which means honeymoon time, Disney World. And so to celebrate that, I really wanted to make some form of Disneybound, and I went through all my patterns. I came across this really awesome 1980s style dress. I fell in love with the giant puffy sleeves on it straight away, and to me it just screamed Ariel, right? So without any further ado, let's jump right into making a 1980s Ariel Disneybound.
Here is the fabric I'm using for this project. It is an entire bolt of pink cotton, which I found at the second-hand store, and it cost me $5. And I couldn't resist throwing in some glittery fabrics, which I had lying about in my own stash. And finally, some lining fabric. So unfortunately my vintage pattern is 2 sizes too small for me, so I am now going to take you through the journey of upsizing it to fit me. First I begin by tracing out the pattern pieces onto a piece of parchment paper. Then I draw extension lines coming out from corners and marks anywhere along the pattern piece. Then I mark 2 sizes larger, using the 2 sizes that already exist on the pattern as a guide to do so. And then I tidy up all the lines using my rulers. And lastly, I write the pattern name and transfer any notches or markings that were on the original piece. And now it's time to cut everything out, first starting with the fashion fabric. And then the lining fabric. Before finally transferring any notches and markings, and now I'm ready to start. I'm starting by adding some of the glitter tulle to the pieces that will eventually become the bow details. Before putting the sleeves together, I wanted to put some decorative ribbon along them to mimic the stripes that Ariel has on her own sleeves. clipping and turning up the bottom edge of the lining. This will make it easier to attach in the long run.
So as you can see, the dress here is pretty much done. However, I encountered a rather, how do I put this? Silly mistake I may have made. In the process of sizing this up from the vintage sizing to modern day sizing, I may have forgotten to accommodate for my bust size and how much larger that is than a standard normal size. So on the back here, if you weren't as well endowed in this area as I am, it fits perfectly. It's a standard size at the moment, but it doesn't fit me. So let me give you a little run through on what I'm planning to do on the back here. So first I have this invisible zip, which I'll be installing in the bottom half of the skirt here up to the waistband. And then once that's done, putting the skirt lining in and sewing that together. Then we've got the bodice part. So the plan here is to fold it back like that, lift up the lining, get some of this twill tape for strength, and I'm going to run a line of that down there, and then I'm going to sew the lining and the bodice that way together, fold it right way so that the twill tape will be on the inside there, it'll be encased, and it'll be sitting nice like this. We'll have a nice straight edge, and then I'm going to put a series of machine sewn eyelets in here, and the twill tape will help strengthen the fabric because this is a really lightweight fabric and it'd probably tear otherwise. And then I've got some cordage here which I will use to lace up this area, and then it should fit my bust. So let's get started on that.
First I'm putting in some cotton tape. Like I said before, this will strengthen the seam line and make it so I'm able to put eyelets in. Next I'm adding an invisible zipper into the waist of the skirt. Then I'm adding in the lining, and first I am doing a running gathering stitch and then gathering it and then sewing that into the skirt. Now that the lining's in, it is time to put the eyelets into the back of the dress. So I'm marking out evenly where I want the eyelets to sit, and then I'm taking it over onto my machine, and it has an eyelet function which I just press and it sews it itself. And finally I hem the skirts by just doing a rolled hem.
Alright, so the skirt and the lining are now hemmed, and now I'm up to one of the final parts, which will be attaching the inside lining along the waistband here. So all I'm going to be doing is pinning that down and then hand stitching the entire way along there. have it! That is how I made my 1980s Ariel-inspired Disneybound. I'm so happy with how this turned out, all things considered. I love that I got to use entirely thrifted fabrics to make it, or stuff I already had in my stash. I think the pink is just adorable. My favourite part for sure is definitely the giant puffy sleeves. I'm so glad those are making a comeback in modern fashion because, oh, I just love them. They're so dramatic, so over the top, so mwah. The only particular issue I had with making this was entirely my own fault, and that was when I was sizing up the vintage pattern 2 sizes. I forgot to accommodate for my bust size, and so obviously it was too small for me there. However, I think the quick fix I did of putting the lace-up corset in the back really, you know, helped bring it all together, make it work. I mean, it was wearable, was it not? I think the only thing I would do differently about it is add pockets. I honestly don't know why I didn't, but anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot to me, all your love and support. And if you like what you saw today, please hit the like button down below. And if you liked it a lot, hit that subscribe button too. Especially if you love sewing, crafting, and having fun, because that is what I do on my channel here. I also try and upload most Fridays, so please stick around. And with that being said, we'll see you all next week. Bye!